Okay, it's looking pretty good. You got some of the basic shapes all right. This is way too dense. It looks like you've smoothed it multiple times, which is not a good thing to do. So I'm going to try to step that back by going into the attribute editor, selecting the smooth face, select, and then delete. Okay, that's already a little bit better. I'll delete this, which should change the shape of it a little bit, but I want to delete that to be able to delete this one. Okay, now we're back to a reasonable poly count. Looks like there's something went wrong here with the splits, so I can put those back in. I'll use the multi-cut tool, Control Shift X, and hold down Shift to make sure that's centered. And I'll hit 3 so I can. Well, let's put this one in first, and then okay. I think that, oh, there's one more in here. I don't know how those got deleted, but wait, let me back that off. Make sure it's red before you click on it, that red dot. It looks weird because I'm in smooth. It looks like it's off, but I think it's on. It's just hard to see tucked in there when you're not on smooth preview. Oh, and then we've got another one here that's also missing. So I'm just going to click here, and again, wait until it turns red before you click. Okay, and then, whoops. Let's see, the pants, again, way too dense. I don't know why you decided to smooth it so much. It's not a good idea. I'm going to select and delete that smooth. And again, select and delete this one. And select and delete that one. Okay, so now at least we have a reasonable density, but I think you need to work on the shape some more. So, and there's all this kind of bad geometry in here. So I think the thing to do would be to delete out all of that and then bridge again. I'm going to try selecting these face rows, and that's selecting it up, whoops, up to a certain point. Just select one and then shift double click on the next one, and I'll select the row, and then I'll repeat that up here. And probably, okay. And then let's do the bridge thing again. Whoops. Okay, we don't want the top selected though, just using Control Select to delete to remove those from the selection. Shift right mouse click bridge. I can add a division in my bridge or two. Okay, so that's much better. Now it's not all crazy dense. And then I would work on the shape of this. Probably move these back and these. Yeah, I mean, if anything, this should stick out further here. And these. And these maybe down and back. Okay. So that's starting to be a little better shape. You can continue to shape that some, but don't make your surfaces so dense. That's the big mistake that you're making. Um, you can see it looks fine in smooth preview. I think these could be shaped a little better. They look very elongated. Um, and what I would do, actually, let's turn on symmetry. Holding down W, left mouse click, symmetry, symmetry. I would select this face row and then grow it with a shift period, which is the greater than symbol, and maybe up to there. Delete that. Oh, interesting. The symmetry isn't working right. Well, you know what? We'll turn that off for now, and then we'll mirror it again. Probably needs to be mirrored again afterwards anyway, because there was some of that funny business up in the middle. So just deleting that. Take this, and then I'll circularize it with this button, and yeah, that looks much better. And maybe scale that in a little bit. Okay, and then from there, I'll Control E to extrude. Then I'll build the rest of this. So extrude this out. Um, Maybe one more time. Um, and then maybe just take this row and extrude that out to give it some thickness. Oh wait, yeah, yeah, like that, and then put in some holding edges there. Something like that. And so that's nice and rounder. And then, yeah, you'll adjust the pants so they're not intersecting the body. Shoes, again, much too dense. I don't know why you put the smooth on there afterward. That is not something you want to do. Yeah, this deserves more attention. They're very dense here. You've got some overlapping edges there, which are going to be problematic. Also, they're combined for some reason. You shouldn't combine these, so I'm going to do mesh separate. And yeah, just a lot of really dense areas, a very uneven topology, and this is especially problematic, as is this kind of area here. So I would probably, oof, there's some really crazy stuff going on there. I could try slide edge, shift right mouse click, slide edge, and see what that if that helps. It does seem to help a little bit. So at least we can see. I don't know why that's in there. I might remove that. Um, you can also just, you might want to just delete out some of these, just to, and then kind of put them back in one at a time, but just more carefully and methodically. Thing is, every time you add an edge, you want to like really, we lost the corner there. You want to really go in and adjust all the new points that that new edge creates. But here there's just all kinds of crazy edges put in that I don't think are really adding any of the shape to this. Um, so yeah, it's pretty hard to pick apart at this point, but start by removing a lot of the edges. Just and always use shift right mouse click delete edge. Don't just hit delete, otherwise it'll leave vertices behind. That's very important. Um, so really get a lot of this detail out of there. Yeah, there's just a lot of crazy edges everywhere that don't really add anything to the shape of this. Do you notice how the shape of this hasn't changed? I mean, yeah, I mean you can see we're side by side. I mean, it'll look a little different smooth than this one does, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, honestly, I've only removed detail, and if anything, this one probably looks better for it than the original. So, just gonna isolate this and maybe take out this and grow that shift period, which is the greater than symbol. And I might just start by circularizing this. And then let's adjust the twist. and then you can, then you can adjust the shape of that some more if you want. But I might slide this edge, shift right mouse click, slide edge. Um, anyway, I mean, the main thing is this it just really needs more kind of love and attention um, to be a nice looking shape. You're just gonna have to put some, whoops. But it's really hard to do that when you've added all these extra edges that don't really help the shape, and if you've um, smoothed it a bunch of times, there's just too much detail to do that. And then for this, now, we're at a point where it'd be a good idea to um, remirror this. I'm just going to grab these vertices. Make sure I get this one too. And one way to flatten is just to scale in this direction. Make sure it's perfectly flat. And then shift right mouse click, mirror options. Make sure cut geometry is turned off, combine with original is turned on. Border should be merge border vertices. Merge threshold should be custom, and that should be set to 0.001. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can. I think it wants to be at the origin. Let's just make sure. I'm going to do D and V, middle mouse snap to there. Let's put the grid back on and snap this to was that the origin right there? Okay, and now let's try mirroring it. Okay. Yeah, and then, just keep working on the shape until it's better. And then when the shape is good, when it's at a lower amount of edges, then you can add edges, but add edges one at a time and then adjust the position of the new let's turn on mirror again, the symmetry I mean. Slide edge. Oh, it doesn't want to, oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, after you've got a good, I still think this needs a lot of work, but after you get a shape you like at the lower detail, add detail only as you need it, and then make adjustments to that new detail once it's in there. But don't just like add detail for no reason. You should always have a reason why you're adding an edge, and then after you add it, you should always be adjusting the points. And if you didn't need to adjust the points, usually you didn't need to add that edge. I mean, I know holding edges are kind of an exception to that, but for the most part, that's true. Um, but it's just, you really need to spend some time sculpting these things and really looking at and thinking about the shape. I'm just going to Control E, turn symmetry off, and then Control E again. And then, you can put in some holding edges there as well. Anyway, if I had to say kind of one thing for you to remember about this is don't smooth. Don't use the smooth function unless you have a very specific purpose for that. You don't just do tons of smoothing. Yeah, and then you're going to want to mirror this shirt as well. Again, delete off half of it. Just going to isolate this for the moment. Select those vertices along the center line. Make sure you only have those vertices selected. Be in the Move tool. Make sure this little interface here is open. It opens and closes from right there. Make sure you're on absolute transform 0 in the X direction to make sure there's on the center line. Shift right mouse click. We already set the options for mirror. Boom. Okay. All right. Well, I'll save this for you too. I hope this is helpful, but I really think this needs more attention. The other thing is when you save the file, you need to do File, Archive Scene, which is right here. That will then make a zip file, which you can see here is where it puts the zip file, and then that is what you need to turn in. You sent a RAR, which is neither a zip file nor is it an archive scene. It's just some files that have been compressed as a RAR. And so, but what you need is, I need the thing, because the reason I use archive scene is it puts together all the necessary files. So when you have your, for example, your image planes, it includes those as well. We can look at the hand. I guess, is it this one? Um, oh, here, hand, okay. Um, yeah, it's an okay start. I think it just generally needs to be, loved on a little bit more. And, you might try using, I like this, under the surfaces menu, the sculpt geometry tool options, and have it on smooth. Hold down B, click and drag to change the brush size, and this can kind of help sort of fix some of those areas. And then, yeah, then really get in there and just start adjusting. Maybe I'll grow this out a little bit, not that much, but probably want to kind of fatten this up a little bit. I like to use, if you hold down W and do axis normal, which same as changing this to normal, and then pull on the end, it kind of like just pushes things outward in a direction perpendicular to the surface. Yeah, and then I think that this shape is a bit too kind of flat, and you could kind of work on that a little bit more. So I would say you could continue adjusting some of the shapes here, but overall you got the basic structure right on that.